Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling. Revelation 18:1-3. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living." Revelation 18:1-3. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living."
As promised, Bible study, and today we're going to talk about Revelations 18, destruction of Babylon, and Christianity exposed. I've been highly critical about Christianity and its crippling of the black community as well as all the nations of the earth. We're going to find out who is responsible for this. We need to find out who is her. Who is this that's responsible for this calamity in the earth that we call Christianity? It's simple. We'll start off with this. For 1 second. Get my production together. Where's my video at? Pay attention. Oh, you can't hear? Oh, Lord. Don't tell me you can't hear. You can't hear me? Can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? Nobody can hear me? Hold on. Let me see. You can hear me. You're low. I'm low. Am I low? I don't know why I'm low. Maybe it's something with my settings. Hold on. Let me see. Am I very low? Let me see if my speaker is right. Let me see. Hear me now? Anybody hear me better now? I'm still low? Golly, hold on. I don't know what's wrong. I know my mic is on. It's good. Can you hear me now? All my settings seem to be up to par. Let me see, hold on. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me a little bit better now? It's better? Thumbs up. Let me see if my wife can hear me. Hold on. Give me 1 second. How's my audio? You don't hear me? How can you not hear me? Is it better? Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Had to get my production together, y'all. Much better. Okay. Great. Fantastic. That's what I need. We about to go real deep today, y'all. There's some very important information, especially with the times that we in today. That's my wife right there. Shout out to my wife for helping me with the production. Shout out to everybody that came out. This is probably one of the most important things that I probably have gone into. And it's very, very deep. So I'm going to try to be as slow as possible and explain with clarity as much as possible because this is very, very important. I don't know how long I'll be on here. I'll probably be on here. Oh, it's really low. It's really low. I don't know why it's so low. I don't know why it's low. I got all the stuff on here. Some people saying it's low. Some people saying that it's accurate. My wife is saying that it's accurate. Let me see. I don't know. Let's see if I can put it up. Maybe it's let me go into it, see where I'm at. Where's Kevin at? Let's see. Oh, okay. I can hear real good on here. Is your audio up, Miss Brown? Oh, okay. I can hear real good on here. Yeah, I can hear mine's real good. I can hear mine's. What's up, Shantae? Is your audio up, Miss Brown? We about to break it down, y'all. This is about to get real deep right here. This is very sensitive information. Yeah, it might be on your end, Miss Brown. Maybe you gotta turn your audio up. We about to go deep into some real good stuff. It's very informative. It'll highlight some of the things that probably you didn't know about the Bible. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I'm not trying to really make elevate myself and make myself seem like I'm bigger than anything. I just want to help people understand certain things. I get asked questions all the time. I do a lot of study, a lot of reading when I can. And my wife actually was the one who said that she thought that I should come out here and talk about this. If you weren't able to see the intro, I'm going to play it right here again because it means so much that we pay attention. Now, this might be maybe an hour, maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't know. It doesn't really matter as long as the information is out here. I got to play this real quick so that anybody that's coming in can hear this, because this is very important. This is 18 Revelation 18 1 and 3. We gonna break this down real good, real easy too. It's not hard for me, not at all. But it's very necessary that our people hear this. Everyone hears this, because I mean we're entering into these stages. So let me see. Am I here? No, wait. Let me see. Is this my page right here? Sometimes it shows things on my end that's not out here. Let me see. Let's see.
Revelation 18, 1 to 3.
Hold on. Wait. Where?
After this
Why
I
is
saw
not showing
another
on
angel
my-
coming
hold on.
down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his
Let me
glory.
see.
And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling.
I know it's
Revel-
repetitive, but you gotta hear this. You gotta, and please take notes, because make sure you're taking notes on this stuff, because I want you to go back and check my work. But let's start with the intro, and then we go get into some other stuff, and I might be asking questions along the way, to keep everybody up to par on what's going on. Let me see. So I'm gonna play this. Hopefully it'll get through this time. Let me see. Yeah. Okay.
Revelation 18, 1 to 3. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living.
So I want you, if you're watching this, I want you to think of who is this mystery Babylon. A lot of people have stated that it's America. A lot of people think it's some other nation or some other powerful entity or something like that. But I'm gonna ask you guys, after I play this next video, who do you think it is? And then I'll tell you who I believe it is. And we're just let's go through this video first. Hopefully it plays, because this video is giving me a hard time earlier. Hold on, let me see if I can go back out and go back and find it on another screen, because it's, for some reason this is not coming up for me on here. So let me drop this down. Hopefully I'll be able to drop this down. I got my playlist together. Let me see if I can get through all my daughter's stuff. Alright, here's the video. I might have to play it on this. It wasn't playing.
Hi, it's Katrina.
Let me see. Okay. Thought I had all this stuff down before I got on here, but unfortunately I do not. Let me see. Come back to my screen. Sometimes it's kind of difficult pulling up the screen. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, this is it. See, the devil ain't, look at this. The devil don't want me to show you guys this, because it's going to be some deep stuff, y'all. I guarantee you going to leave this very well informed. All right, pay attention to this. I'm going to try to stop it every now and then. But we need to go over this first for you to identify who this person is.
Number 10. The Vatican Necropolis. Hiding underneath what is arguably the most famous basilica in the world is a genuine city of the dead. This ghoulish necropolis is located directly underneath Vatican City's St. Peter's Basilica. Above ground is a world of wonder, a structure filled with beautiful artwork, fascinating frescoes, and hundreds of years of history. But 5 stories beneath it, hidden down in the darkness underground, is a ruin that dates back to the original founding of the Roman Empire. The altar at St. Peter's is at the apex of all of this history. The altar is stacked upon 2,000 years of bones, with the body.
Know that? Did you know in the Vatican that they have this stuff? Do you know? Do you know that they have all of this stuff? Now, keep in mind they have bones that's buried under this, under the Rome, or under the Vatican. All of these things are, yeah. They have all of this stuff in the Vatican, right? So I keep all this stuff in mind before I tell you who it is that I believe it is, and I think it so many other people that scholars that know a lot of stuff about the Roman Empire, that it is actually the Babylon that it speaks about in the Bible in Revelations 18. It has to be the place. So I'm gonna start this over.
Of the Roman Empire. The altar at St. Peter's is at the apex of all of this history. The altar is stacked upon 2,000 years of bones, with the bodies of the dead hidden way underneath it. Many of the bodies buried underneath the basilica aren't even from Christians or Catholics. The oldest burial ground dates back to the 1st century AD and was used for pagans. Above that is yet another level of burials from the 5th century. This one is a bit more interesting because it's
all important stuff for us to understand. See, the Jews, we're not going to get thrown by none of this because we know the law. We know what we're not supposed to be doing. We know what we're not supposed to have in God's temple or around it. Now, keep in mind, this place is built over the bones of who they call Christians and some people pagan people from pagan worshipers. So, and then I want you to think about this. Where was Jesus persecuted? Where was Jesus? First, think of who persecuted Jesus and who was responsible for putting him to death. Who put him on the cross? The people who put him on the cross were the Romans. The Romans were responsible for, even though ultimately the Jews, the elite Jews, the Pharisees and Sadducees were responsible for putting him in a situation where he would get persecuted by the Romans. But the Romans were responsible for putting Jesus to death because they flogged him, they put him through trial, and they were responsible for nailing him to the cross. Okay? So what was that place called that Jesus was crucified? It was called Golgotha. Let me see. Golgotha. Let me show you this. You got to see this. Hold on. Because I this is important for you to see. Stop. And I did a search on Golgotha. Now remember, they had these bones buried under this place, right? Where they supposed to be representing Christ. They have these bones representing this place. On the tree was really hung. One day we'll know the truth. Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. Golgotha. According to what's said right here, look at this. Golgotha, also known as Calvary, is a significant site in Christian, that's what they say, Christian tradition, recognized as the location where Jesus was crucified. It is described as a skull-shaped hill located outside the walls of the ancient Jerusalem. The term Golgotha comes from the Aramaic Golgotha, meaning skull. This site is mentioned in all four Gospels of the New Testament, highlighting its importance in the narrative of Jesus' crucifixion and salvation. Now, why did I bring that up? It's simple. Because when you go to the Vatican, they are said to be worshiping Jesus Christ at the top. But at the bottom, they have the bones of the saints. Right? So it's kind of fitting. It's kind of fitting that this would be that way, because I guess that's a sign to us that we are being persecuted also. And likewise to what these people really are there to persecute the saints of God, because the very same Rome was the place. Well, Rome was responsible for Jesus' death. They hung him, we could say, on a tree in Golgotha, which represents the skull. So I feel, or I believe, that this is a sign to us that Christ, this is the place of Christ's death, right? Right here in the Vatican, that's built over bones, just like the place of the skull where Jesus was persecuted. These people are persecuting the believers, the saints. These people are not really with God. They are people who are persecuting, and the signs is right here, because the Vatican is built over bones, right? And it signifies the torment of the saints, right? This wasn't considered a holy place, because it was outside of Jerusalem, and so is Rome. So is Rome, and it shows us right here. It's telling us right here.
It's a mix of both pagans and Christians, a mausoleum from a time when the pagans of Europe were slowly converting to Catholicism. These two levels alone account for roughly 90% of the time the Roman Empire was in power, between the years 27 BC and 476 AD. Even though St. Peter's Basilica is what everyone knows and what the hill is famous for, it was a sacred place for a very long time. In another surprising twist, there is a hidden church buried underneath the floor of the basilica, and above that, a more recent church from the 12th century. St. Peter's Basilica is really just the newest addition here, built over so much older history. Number 9. The death of Pope John Paul I. In September 1978, Pope John Paul I died suddenly and without warning. His death came just 33 days after he was elected to the station of the Holy See. What was unusual at the time was that contradictory reports came out regarding the circumstances of his unexpected demise. Apparently, there had been anomalies with the death certificate, and to this day, nobody is entirely sure what happened to one of the shortest-lived popes in the Church's history. What we do have are a lot of conspiracy theories, any of which could be the actual truth. The only problem is that we don't have enough evidence to say which one is correct. There is a theory regarding the Vatican Bank, and that those in charge of that particular wing of the Vatican were wildly corrupt and worried that Pope John Paul I was going to bring the hammer down. They allegedly murdered him to keep their finances safe. The corruption is real and documented. We know that the head of the Vatican's Institute for Works of Religion, one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world, was up to his neck in corruption. His name was Bishop Paul Marcinkus, and he was indicted in 1982 for being an accessory to the collapse of Banco Ambrosiano and losing roughly $3.5 billion. We also know that one of the bishop's accomplices was a man named Roberto Calvi, who was a member of the illegal Italian Masonic Lodge. He was found dead in London in 1982,
So there is considerable amount of corruption within the Vatican as well. There's a lot of influence from the Vatican all over the earth. North America, South America, America, and the United States. Every other country comes and bows down to the Vatican because I guess this is the epicenter of the Christian religion, right? It's the center of the belief structure of the number one religion on the earth, which is Christianity. And you seeing that these people are very corrupt. These people have idols. These people are involved in a lot of corruption throughout the earth, and a lot of even the kings of the earth, which are like the presidents, the people that's in power in these different nations, they all cater to the Pope. They all have visit the Pope. All the ambassadors of the earth, which we would consider the kings of the earth, the Bible describes as the kings of the earth, come to visit the Pope and to, get christened by the Pope, I guess. So, and we go deep into that too, because I want to show you how these people are actually involved in just leading the whole world when it comes to their influence over Christianity. And it's actually not a religion of God. Christianity is not a religion of God. It cannot be, because when you look at all the things that's going on over here, you see that these people are not following after the covenant of God, the covenant that God gave to the Israelites. So there's no way these people can represent God, because they are doing things that God do not permit in his word. And we go through that too. I'm going to show you that too.
Weeks before his corruption went public, his death was ruled as self-inflicted, but there are plenty of conspiracy theories around that as well. The takeaway here is that looking at the Pope's death from an outside angle, it really seems that the Pope was killed to protect the bank. But in the end, the scandal was just too big to hide. Number 8. The Vatican Obelisk. Located in the very center of St. Peter's Square in Vatican City is an ancient monument called the Vatican Obelisk. Most people wouldn't be able to tell you what it is, but pretty much everyone would recognize it if they saw a picture of the square. It's the massive pillar right in the very center of the plaza that looks like a giant Egyptian obelisk from thousands of years ago. This monument is thousands of years.
Now, why would they have this in a place that is supposed to represent God? There's no way that this stuff would be around. God took his children away from the Israelites and told them not to partake in anything that has anything to do with Egypt. He didn't want us to take their customs, their traditions along with us when we came out of Egypt. So why are they going back and taking these things from Egypt and bringing them to a place that's supposed to be holy and represent the Most High God?
Years old, and it is actually Egyptian. The obelisk was stolen from the Egyptian city of Heliopolis during the brutal reign of one of the most infamous Roman emperors in history, Caligula. But the history behind the obelisk is even more sinister than that. After the Romans built a specially designed ship to transport the obelisk from Egypt to Rome, it was used for the execution of Christians. The pillar stood in the circus of Gaius and Nero during the time that St. Peter was crucified. Romans would bring Christians to the base of this very structure and then brutally execute them. After the circus was abandoned, Vatican Hill became a necropolis. And in the Middle Ages, the obelisk was still standing in the same place, with the blood of Christians splattered around its base. It was only in 1586 that the monument was finally moved from its original position and placed in the center of the piazza. Number 7. St. Peter's Bones. A decade ago, the Vatican put on display for the first time in history the box which they believed to contain the ancient bones of St. Peter, the apostle and the first bishop of Rome. It was Pope Francis's doing, the 266th bishop of Rome. This was an extremely big deal at the time because prior to 2013, no pope in history had ever said definitively that the 8 pieces of bone hidden underneath St. Peter's Basilica were indeed those of St. Peter himself. The bones weren't even discovered until 1939, deep inside the grottos beneath the basilica, which is basically a 5-story labyrinth of 2,000 years of history. All these years later, there is still no definitive way to say if these bones ever belonged to the Apostle Peter. In 1968, Pope Paul VI.
So they don't even know if these bones really belong to Peter. This is just something that they're saying that has happened, but they don't have any evidence to prove that it actually is. So they're liars too.
Simply said the connection was convincing, but couldn't give any actual evidence to back up the claim. And in 2013, the Vatican threw all discretion out the window and decided to just run with it. But honestly, we don't know whose bones they have in that old chest. Author Bruno Bartolini, who wrote The Ears of the Vatican, said that no pope ever allowed any scientist to study the bones, probably because they don't want to know, and also because there are documents hidden in the Vatican that say there is a 1,000-year-old curse on the tomb of St. Peter. Anyone who opens it will suffer from the worst possible misfortune. Number 6. The Pope Prisoners. For about 60 years, not a single pope left Vatican City. It was one of the weirdest times in the Vatican's history, which saw each pope become a prisoner of their own little kingdom. It had been a long time in the making, and it finally came into effect on May 13, 1871. The Italian Law of Guarantees was the Kingdom of Italy's attempt at solving their pope problem. They hated that the pope had so much influence and power over the people, and so the law was aimed at forcing the Holy See to be an ordinary subject of Italy and not a sovereign. They promised to treat the Pope with similar honors that they would give to a king, but he was to be under strict Italian law. In response, 5 popes locked themselves inside the Palace of the Vatican and didn't leave, starting with Pope Pius IX, who died in 1878. The Pope was so furious that he excommunicated the King of Italy, basically sentencing him to a lifetime in hell. It ended with Pope Pius XI, who eventually worked out a new deal with Benito Mussolini in 1929. They decided that Vatican City would be its very own country, which it still is.
So Vatican City is its very own city and nation. It has sovereignty.
Today. Number 5. The Black Magic Grimoire. The Black Magic Grimoire is exactly what it sounds like. It's an ancient book of black magic that's been dated back anywhere from 1421 to 1521. However, no historian has ever agreed on when the first edition was published. Expert Owen Davies says it was 1702 when the first edition was made available, but other, more mainstream scholars suggest it was written in the 19th century as a kind of hoax. Anything we know about the Black Magic Grimoire, also known as the Grand Grimoire, is vague at best. The introductory chapter was likely written by a man named Antonio Veneciana del Rabina, and he got much of his information from the original writings of the great King Solomon. Many of the black magic spells in the book are variations of the Key of Solomon or the Red Dragon. So what does a book on black magic have to do with the Vatican? Rumor has
So they have black magic books in here. So it's all kind of atrocities coming on. It's all kinds of things that's going on in the Vatican that does not represent God, the God of the Bible. We'll go through the scriptures to find out these things because these things that are going on are actually forbidden. Let's go through some scriptures real quick. I'll go through some scriptures real quick to show you how this is an abomination that's going on in here. I'm gonna stop this, and I'm gonna bring up my screen for my Bible so I can show everybody how these things that's going on in this place that I guess started Christianity are not in line with the Bible. Let's go to Exodus. I'll start at Exodus. What is it? Exodus 20 and 4. 20 and 4. Okay. Let's start here. This is very simple, basic thing. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. See that? We're not supposed to be doing none of this stuff. This should not be going on in the place that's supposed to be representing the God of the Bible. Let's make that clear. The God of the Bible, those things he outlined what should and should not be going on in the assembly of his people. And he furthermore stated, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. For I, the Lord, thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So listen, ladies. He says he's visiting the iniquity of the fathers. Why? Because the fathers are the seed bearers. So he's going to visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. I don't see nobody arguing about, well, why we ain't got no mothers? Why he don't visit the iniquity of the mothers? Don't nobody say that. The fathers he do, though, because the fathers are the seed bearers. But he does this: show mercy unto thousands of them that love me and do what? Keep my commandments. That's very important. Want to know how it's important? Because a lot of people come out here and they say, well, all I have to do is follow after faith, and all I have to do is follow after Jesus, and I'm going to get into heaven because I follow after Jesus. Well, I'm sorry, let me bust your bubble. That's what Christianity did to you. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14 and see if that you can stand on that. Let's see if you can stand on that in Revelations. In Revelations, it says in 14, it says 12. Let's go to 14 and 12. It says, I think it's 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God. Yeah. Keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. So it's clear right there. It's keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Because unlike a lot, this is how the devil is tricking the Christians, because, and this is why sin is so prevalent in the churches today, because they think that they can follow after Jesus and do what they want to, but not right here. It didn't say it right here. It said right here, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. See, you got to keep the faith. You got to keep the commandments. Because Christ said he ain't come to put away the commandments. That give you license to do what the Vatican is doing. How did we identify that the Vatican is Babylon? Because of what they doing. They got bones of the saints and they got black magic in there. Our Bible clearly forbid us from doing black magic. Clearly did. Where is it at, Kevin? Right here in Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy. I'll show you ain't supposed to be doing no no tarot card reading, all of that stuff. That's not of God. None of it is of God. Let me see. Is it 18? I want to say, is it 18 and 10? 10 and 11? Let me see. Let me see. I'm going to get it out here for you. Ain't none of this stuff supposed to be going on. Oh, there it is. Yes, it is. When thou art, then we going to start at 9. When thou art coming to the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God have not suffered thee so to do. This is clear instruction. This gives us a basis, a foundation for us to know who and what we are not supposed to be dealing with. And the Vatican has all this stuff in there that the God of the Bible clearly instructed us not to be involved with. So that's now this clear right here. How can you get this wrong? There's no way you can get this wrong. There's no way you can get this wrong. It's not possible. Right? Let's continue. So we see a lot of things that's wrong. Hey, Faith, we see a lot of things that's going on that's quite suspect. Let's continue with the video, though. 10 of the creepiest things hidden in the Vatican.
That an original copy is secured somewhere inside their archives. We don't know if any of it is true, but that's what some sources say. And considering the Vatican archives are home to pretty much every relevant religious text in the world, it wouldn't be a big surprise. It makes sense that they would keep a secret book hidden that can supposedly summon Lucifer.
Why would they be having all of this stuff in there? And she telling the truth. Why would they be having, when the Bible clearly told us not to be involved with this stuff? Why would they have? Because Christianity is false. Because Christianity comes from the Vatican and Constantine. It didn't come from God. Because if it did, why would they be doing anything that goes against what God has already told his people not to do? His word is forever. He established this covenant with his people that we are not supposed to be doing these things. Why are these people doing it? Because they're not of God.
If it is true, but that's what some sources say. And considering the Vatican archives are home to pretty much every relevant religious text in the world, it wouldn't be a big surprise. It makes sense that they would keep a secret book hidden that can supposedly summon Lucifer and give one the ability to make a deal with the devil. Number 4. Jesus' death certificate. The Shroud of Turin is a small piece of linen.
Look at this mess. Look at this mess.
Cloth that appears to show the imprint of the face of Jesus Christ. It looks kind of like a negative from a roll of film. Religious scholars believe the shroud was wrapped around the body of Christ after his death, which is why his face was left imprinted on it. The shroud was first mentioned in 1354 and quickly became one of the most legendary religious artifacts in the world. It was kept inside the royal chapel at the Cathedral of Turin in northern Italy ever since 1578. But the truth of the shroud is quite controversial. In 1988, tests proved it came from the Middle Ages, about 1,200 years after Christ's recorded death.
telling you that that's a lie too. Not only that it's not confirmed that the bones that they have is Peter's, but this route came 1,200 years after the death of Christ, and they proved it.
Death. But recently, Barbara Frail, a researcher with the Vatican's secret archives, says that traces of writing were found on the shroud, which has turned it into a kind of death certificate. Barbara says the fragments of words discovered on the shroud were written in Greek, Hebrew, and Latin, and say something like, "This shroud was placed over Jesus of Nazareth." This is information coming straight from somebody who works in the Vatican. It's now believed that this mysterious piece of linen was used by a clerk following Jesus' execution. His name was written on it in many different languages, then laid around his body before he was buried. Either it's real, and this really is Jesus Christ's actual death certificate, a legitimate document of death, or the Vatican is just telling stories. What do you think? Number 3. The Pope Escape Tunnels. The Passetto di Borgo looks like any other old stone fortification in Vatican City. It runs 2,600 feet straight from the city to the Castel Sant'Angelo, and most people don't know what in the world it even is. This stone fortification was once a secret passageway used for popes to escape from harm. The passage, which from the outside honestly just looks like an ordinary wall, was constructed starting in 850 AD at the behest of Pope Nicholas III, but it wasn't finished for roughly 650 years until the reign of Pope Alexander VI in 1492. He was famous for corruption and nepotism, using his position and money to take care of his illegitimate children. Anyway, he finished the passageway just in time. Pope Alexander used his newly completed escape tunnel to escape when the French invaded 2 years later. All that effort really didn't amount to much, with only a handful of popes ever needing it. The last flight was in 1527, when Pope Clement VII had to escape the mutinous troops from the Holy Roman Emperor's imperial army. The troops had turned against Charles V and marched on Rome, and Clement VII was one of the few high-level people to escape, all thanks to his sneaky tunnel. In 2000, as a way to honor the Roman Catholic Church's Great Jubilee year, the Passetto was refurbished. In recent years, the church has opened the tunnels to visitors for a restricted amount of time during each summer. Number 2. Lucifer. There are some who say that hidden in the bowels of the Vatican is proof that the devil exists. These are the same people who believe the Vatican is holding evidence of extraterrestrials. And in another puzzling conspiracy theory, there are people out there who believe the entire Catholic Church, all of Vatican City, and the Pope himself are controlled by Lucifer, all of them puppets of the devil. But this is all just wild conspiracy theory speculation. It's true that we don't know if the devil exists. The only church that has a devil inside of it is the Holy Trinity Church in Westminster. The church was built specifically to celebrate the defeat of Napoleon. Lucifer's portrayal lives inside this church in the United Kingdom, but it's not what you think. The devil was put here by a local artist, a man named Paul Fryer, who created a grotesque statue of Lucifer in wax with wings made of actual feathers caught up in power cables. It's one of the creepiest things in any church, especially one that's been in use for over a century, although it hasn't been used as a place of worship since the 1930s. But of course, it's just an artist's disturbing work, not proof that the devil is running the Vatican. Number 1. The Resurrection. Speaking of creepy sculptures, there is an extremely disturbing sculpture that's actually inside the Vatican. It's called the Resurrection, and it was modeled in...
Did y'all know that this was there? This is in the Vatican. This is an idol. We are not supposed to have these things. And this is where Christianity comes from. Christianity comes from the Roman Catholic Church. And these people are involved in doing things that's against what the Bible says we are to do. A lot of people come out here and say, well, the Old Testament is antiquated. We don't go by the Old Testament anymore. But that's not what Jesus said. He said he did not come to put away the law, but rather to fulfill it. Right? So there's no way you can put away the law, because if you put away the law, that means that all of these things that's occurring within this church, it can happen. and they can say that they are of God, but our Bible doesn't say that, because in Revelation chapter 14 verse 12 we are to keep the commandments and the faith of Jesus Christ. That's what the books say. So why is the devil so prevalent? Is because he's operating within these environments. He's operating within the Christian church. He's operating in it, and he's using it to have the power needed to influence all peoples on the earth. Case in point, let's go to this. We don't need to see the rest of this video. I think we got to number 1. We can finish it out. Hold on.
In 1977 out of bronze and copper by an artist named Pericle Fazzini. It's about 66 feet long and
Look at the Pope
23
right in front of it. Look at the Pope right in front of it.
feet tall, and is the current backdrop for the stage in the Vatican's Paul VI Audience Hall. The Audience Hall is the source of quite a few conspiracy theories,
This
almost
is
all of
idolatry. Look at this.
them caused by the oddly horrific sculpture rising above the head of the frail old Pope. Even though the sculpture is meant to depict the resurrection of Christ, it looks like a bunch of melted snakes all tied together, with some kind of demon rising from a reactive black goo. Mr. Fazzini must have gotten his inspiration from some horror movie. The hall itself is where the Pope holds all his weekly meetings when the weather isn't good enough to be in St. Peter's Square. The sculpture, believe it or not, is actually supposed to instill a kind of shock in people when they see it for the first time. It has a prominent place in the hall because the sculptor wanted to remind all the Pope's audience that, as Christians, they shouldn't be afraid of what's to come when Jesus Christ is resurrected. Instead,
All deception.
they should accept the great cataclysm that will be upon them and rejoice in the resurrection, even if the world is thrown into a horrifying maelstrom of chaos and death. Thanks.
So that's what they got going on in the Vatican, y'all. And from this, we can clearly see that these people, hold on, are not representing God, the God of the Bible. Okay? Hold on, before I pull this screen up, let me get to the next video, which I need the next video to be on. Hold on. See this next video, which is just as important before we get into the other stuff. Let me see. Where is my video at? Lord have mercy, I gotta go through all this stuff to figure out where this next video. So this video is gonna break it down a little bit and give you some information as far as what I'm establishing today. Let me see. Where is this video at? Yeah, I'm coming to it. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Let me see. Very important. This video right here is very important too. Before we get grounded, this is proof that Rome is the mysterious Babylon.
Who is Mystery Babylon? A lot of people have written books about America, even Islam being Mystery Babylon of the book of Revelation. Did you know that God told us exactly who Mystery Babylon is? He literally gave us a checklist. Would you like to see for yourself? Hi, I'm David Daniels from Chick Publications. See, when God tells us a mystery, we can be sure of two things. One, God knows all about it. And two, we won't know about it without Him. Mysteries are what Jesus called the parables when He interpreted them clearly for His disciples. Here, Matthew 13:11, Jesus here, He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So parables were spoken to keep stuff hidden from closed-hearted people, but mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, those are God's secrets revealed as much as the faithful are able to bear. God has already known and always known everything. So God can talk about things as already completed even when they aren't for us. In Romans chapter 4, verse 17, it says, God, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not, as though they were. That's why in Genesis 17:5, God said to Abraham, a father of many nations have I made thee, when he only had Ishmael. In the same way, God talks about the whore of Babylon as a fully established reality.
I didn't have no sound that whole time. Good Lord. I done said a mouthful of stuff. Where did I stop at? Good Lord. Where did I stop at? Start at. Babe, did you hear my sound? So I said up here. If I didn't have no sound, I'm sorry, y'all. So let me put this up here. I'm gonna pull myself down. Can you hear me now? No, it's on. Okay, good. So I said up here. Let me see. I said up here. In Jeremiah. Let's see. That God was married to is married to, espoused to Israel. And Israel had committed the transgression of backsliding, and it was considered, they were considered a harlot, right? Because they played the whore with other nations. They started worshiping their gods. And God saw that as an offense against him. And so in Jeremiah 3, chapter 3, verse 8, it says, and I saw when for all the cause whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and stocks. And yet for all this her treacherous sister Judah have not turned unto me with her whole heart, but fiendly, said the Lord. So Judah remained, but half-hearted, not truly sold on doing the will of the Lord, but Israel was gone. And so God gave her, Israel, a bill of divorce. Notice it says two sisters. It says two sisters. So God was married to Israel and Judah. And it says these two, out of these two sisters, one of them played the harlot, and God gave her a bill of divorce and gave her, it says up here, he put her away for her adultery and gave her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and stocks. Now remember that, with stones and with stocks, because they erected these. This is a group, this is a nation of people who defiled the land through committing the act of worshiping other gods made of stones and stocks. The very same things that we seen the Vatican doing. They make statues, they make all these things that the Bible clearly told us that we are not supposed to do. We are not supposed to do these things. We not supposed to bow down to these things. We're not supposed to be involved with none of this stuff. That is not what God called us to do. And I think if you didn't hear me, I'm gonna go back to Leviticus 19 and 26. Let's see what it said. Ye shall not eat anything with blood, neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observe times. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall into whoredoms and the land become full of wickedness. So all of this is interconnected with what we're talking about, because the church embodies the female version, because Christ is to come and espouse himself to the church. So the church is a female, right? That's why he said, let not the daughter become a prostitute. And how do the daughter become a prostitute? Spiritually, by serving other gods. By serving other gods. And the Vatican clearly are serving other gods. They are serving other gods because we see their fruit. We see what they're doing. We see that they are having magic, black magic in there. They have bones in there. They are full of corruption. You know, they making bribing other countries and nations, and exploiting exploiting the commandments by doing certain things that is not abiding by the laws and statutes that God has established. So we see this going on in these people, and they are the women. They represent the women. Yeah, they half-hearted. They represent the woman, the female that God is supposed to marry, and God will not marry anything that is not in accordance to what he told us to do when it comes to keeping the covenant. Hold on, let me see. Let me bring this up. I got to bring this video up because this is gonna help everybody to understand some of the stuff that. Let me see. Pull this up. See.
All we see is one piece at a time, but God sees the completed puzzle, and he tells us about that completed puzzle. Would you like to see what 8 of the pieces are according to Revelation 17 and 18? Here is a very simple list. If you want a more detailed answer, look at chapter 16 of Why They Changed the Bible. I've arranged the fulfillments in historical order so that you can see the development. Okay? Number 1, 7 mountains. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. In the 300s BC, the Servian wall was built as a defensive wall around 7 hills: the Aventine, Caelian, Capitoline, Esquiline, Palatine, Quirinal, and Viminal. These became the 7 hills of Rome. So Rome was called the city on 7 hills. Number 2, purple, scarlet, and gold. Revelation 17:4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. February 15th, 44 BC, Julius Caesar wore an expensive purple and gold toga to the Feast of Pan called Lupercalia. After this, all Caesars started wearing that expensive purple as a symbol of royalty, and scarlet and gold. This continued right down into the Roman Catholic clergy, becoming commonplace in 500 AD. But nobody dressed better than the Pope. Purple, scarlet, and gold. Number 3, religion declares itself mother. Revelation 17:5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. 251 AD, Cyprian of Carthage declared in De Unitate Ecclesiae, the unity of the church, quote, "He cannot have God for his father who does not have the church for his mother." The religion of Roman Catholicism after that took on the name Mother Church. 431 AD, at the Council of Ephesus, where they once cried for 2 hours, "Great is Diana of the Ephesians." Acts 19:34, they now exalted Mary as the Theotokos, the bearer of God, or the mother of God. And often, becoming Roman Catholic is said to be coming home to Mother Church, or coming home to Mary. I have some books on that. Revelation 18:7, the whore Babylon says, "I sit as a queen." Is it any coincidence that the Catholic Mary is also called the Queen of Heaven? Number 4, her seat on one of the 7 mountains. Revelation 17:9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Vatican Hill is not one of the 7 hills of Rome, but listen to this. In 313 AD, Constantine gave the Lateran Palace on Caelian Hill to the Bishop of Rome. It became and still is the ecclesiastical seat of the Bishop of Rome, the Pope. And that's not all. 324 AD, the first basilica was built called St. John Lateran. In it is a throne called the cathedra, which is a seat or a chair with arms for the Pope. Number 5, drunk with the blood of the saints, Revelation 17:6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great adoration.
Now, this is a very important one right here. Drunk with the blood of the saints. Drunk with the blood of the saints. Very important, because you know why? Hold on. Let me show you this. I'm going to just show you our people. I'm going to show you our people. Hold on. Drunk with the blood of the saints. If I can pull this up, I'm having a hard time with this internet stuff right now. I don't know why it's so difficult to get this internet working right now. Access has been blocked. Click the screen. Okay. Address to access to below. Hold on. I don't know why they're not letting me access. Let me see. Okay, wait a minute. I don't know what's going on. This thing acts up every single time. Let me pull this back up. What I was gonna show is how the Roman Catholic Church. Oh Lord, look at all of this. What is going on with this? Hold on. Let me drop down. Hold on. Let me pull myself up. This always happens every time I get on live. Every time I start talking about things that's important, this always happens. Everything always go crazy when I get on here. Every single time. Hold on. So what I was going to show, I'll say it. What I was going to show is the caves in Ghana where the Africans were stored prior to the slave traders taking them to the Americas through the transatlantic slave trade. So before that even happened, and before they could put us into captivity, the Pope signed the papal bulls, what is known as the papal bulls, giving all these countries that was under their authority to conquer all these lands in the name of Jesus. If anybody rebelled against them, they would put them to death and enslave them. So when he talks about the actual occurrence of them being drunk with the wine, with the wine of the nations, or whatever he just said, being drunk with the nations, the blood of the nations, he's actually saying what the Vatican has given authority by using their authority to put these people into subjection to, you know, to them, and causing all this torture, enslavement, and death of all the people that they conquered. They used the Spaniards, the Portuguese, and all these people to conquer. He said that these people were drunk with the blood of the saints. That's what happened. So the only people that it could be is the Christian church. The Christian, the Roman Catholic Church, that's responsible for all the churches in the world, that's and responsible for Christianity. They're drunk with the blood of the saints. And even on a minor scale, a lot of our churches in America is drunk with the blood of the saints, because we hear reports of women being raped, children being raped in our churches, people being exploited in our churches. It's a lot of the evil, wicked stuff going on a minor scale, because even though Martin Luther disbanded from Catholicism, he only disbanded from Catholicism because he wanted to focus on the faith of Jesus Christ and not having to do the sacraments that the Roman Church mandated, because you had to pay them indulgences for sin. But now you paying for faith, so it's the same thing, but it's just a switch of rule in how they doing stuff. You pay for indulgences over here in Roman Catholicism, that empowered them, and then now you paying churches for faith. I see you putting forth a seed of $1,000, $100, and all of this stuff, and it's just a way to exploit God's people. They're drunk off the blood of the saints. They're only filling their bellies. No one is being edified by the church in America. Nobody is. All they doing is having all this faith in something, and all this blind faith, but really it's faith in this divine entity, which is the devil. He's exploiting all the people because they're doing things that is not consistent with what God told them to do in his word. And they're not abstaining from the pollutions of the world. They're not abstaining from the sin that he forbid them from doing in the commandments, in his law, statutes, and commandments. So it's counterproductive to helping the people. It doesn't matter your sacrifice. It doesn't matter your giving to the church. It doesn't matter what, if you still living in sin, it's not helping you out. You're not going to get anywhere with God. And the only way that you're able to get somewhere with God is by the deception that the devil was putting out here to make you think that you're with God, but you're not really with God, because that's why it says corrupt minds believe godliness is gain. A lot of Christians think godliness is gain. It's synonymous with gain, and it's not. It's not. Oh, I got a new car. Oh, I got a new house. Oh, I got a new... That don't mean... How is your soul being edified? Are you able to abstain from fornication? Are you able to abstain from adultery? Are you not participating in necromancy and spiritists and things of that nature? Black magic and palm reading and tarot card reading? Are you doing those things that will disband you from the love that God is capable of giving you if you abandon these practices? If you're not abandoning those practices, then that means you're a sinner and you still held captive by the devil. It's only that's why he said he deceived the whole world. In Revelations, it said Satan deceived the whole world. And you know how he's going to do it? Mostly by Christianity. Because how many Christians is in the world? Billions. Biggest religion in the world. Christianity is the world's largest religion with approximately 2.4 billion followers. And they all deceived. They're all deceived by the devil. Because the devil is in full operation in the church, in the Christian church. Because they will not abide by God's word. And that's how we able to identify the whore of Babylon. Is because of their doings. You can have faith, but where's your deeds? If your deeds are not consistent with your faith, you don't have anything. You don't have faith. So your deeds have to be consistent with your faith. It's not enough for you to just believe in Jesus. It's actually enough for you to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. He said, those who love me keep my commandments. Period. So don't get tricked by Catholicism, because it's here only to exploit you. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's exploiting the whole world. It's exploiting the whole world because people are serving the devil and they don't realize it. Let me see if it'll pop up now. Yeah, it's popping up now. Let's see.
Admiration. Look at this list here, right here. 1184 AD, the Synod of Verona says you can burn heretics at the stake. 1215 AD, starting at that Fourth Lateran Council, the Inquisition was formed. After that, does anyone want to dispute the millions of victims tortured and killed in the name of the Pope, the Mary Goddess, and the Eucharist wafer? Even if the killings weren't done at Rome. Roman Catholicism was responsible. This chart, by the way, comes from Did the Catholic Church Give Us the Bible? Truly, she was power mad, drunk with the blood of the saints. Revelation 18:24, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. That's 5 so far. Can you think of anyone else that would be batting 1,000 at this point? Number 6, a city that reigns over the kings of the earth. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Walk with me on this. Unum Sanctum, 1302, Pope Boniface VIII came up with the ex cathedra doctrine, that means it's authoritative, of the 2 swords. The spiritual sword and the temporal or terrestrial sword. Human government, that is. Boniface VIII, the Pope, declared, quote, in this church and in its power are 2 swords, namely the spiritual and the temporal. Both, therefore, are in the power of the church. Then he said the church was the highest power of all. And, quote, if the highest power of all err, it can be judged only by God and not by man. Mm-hmm. What he's saying is that the Pope of Rome has dominion over all the governments of the world and is responsible only to God. February 11th, 1929, the signing of the Lateran Accords declared Vatican City as a sovereign city-state, so that it was both a city and a country, with its ruler, the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, and it's called a sacerdotal monarchical city because it is both a religious body and it has a single ruler over it. So since 1929, Most countries of the world have come to the Vatican to have a private audience with the Pope. And Rome,
See, and they got the Vatican is the only one that can fulfill the prophecy in Revelations as the authority over all the kings of the nations. They the only ones that can fulfill that. They're the only ones, and I'll show you why. Hold on, let me show you. This is President Biden at the G7 summit right here.
To attend the group's event. Francis meeting with world leaders at the G7 summit. It's first for a pope to attend the group's event. President Biden shook the Pope's hand in southern Italy as the use of artificial intelligence rises. The Pope shared his concern about it. Non-member leaders of G7 from India, Jordan, Turkey, and more are also joining in on the discussion on potential guardrails on AI. President Biden and the pontiff are expected to privately meet following this.
Look, I don't need that. Hold on, let's go back. Let me show you this. Hold on.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
Hold on.
who is Mystery Babylon?
Hold on. Yeah, what's going on here? Okay, wait a minute.
A lot of people have written books about America, even.
Let's see. This the video that I wanted. So this is the other video. Let me see. This is it right here.
The list of dignitaries that have met with Benedict XVI is like the who's who among world leaders. Whether traveling to their home states or visiting the Vatican, here are just few of the most memorable. When it comes to world figures as recognizable as the Pope himself, few can claim the rock star charisma of current US President Barack Obama. In 2009, the executive visited the Vatican along with First Lady Michelle Obama. But he's not the only American leader to meet with Benedict XVI. During his trip to the U.S. in 2008, President George W. Bush helped the Pope celebrate his 81st birthday. His gift, a set of country tunes to help the pontiff.
All of the nation's kings or people that's in power, like the presidents or the ambassadors of those nations, have to come and kiss the ring of the Vatican, right? And he has sovereignty over these nations, and because he has of his influence, he's able to influence a greater body of people. And so this is synonymous with what we see in Revelations chapter 18 when it says all these things about the kings of the nations and what they. We'll go to it real quick so I can show you. Let me see this. Let me show you this.
Learn a little more about the president's native Texas culture. Speaking of peculiar gifts, when Benedict XVI welcomed President Shimon Peres for a landmark visit with the leader of the world's only Jewish state, the Israeli executive gave the Pope an itty-bitty Bible, so small in fact, a magnifying glass was needed just to look at it. Discussing more serious topics, Benedict XVI used papal audiences to address the drug wars in two very devout Latin American countries. First, in 2009, he welcomed Colombian President Álvaro Uribe. 3 years later, he also touched on the same topic with Mexican President Felipe Calderón during his visit to Mexico and Cuba. That visit also gave way to one of the most emblematic images of his pontificate, the Pope's meeting with the ailing former Cuban leader Fidel Castro. The two octogenarians met for over an hour and spoke about politics and
there go Fidel Castro in Cuba. Look,
religion. During that visit, there was speculation Benedict XVI would also meet with Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, but that meeting never took place. The two, however, did meet in 2006 at the Vatican. Once back home, Benedict XVI also welcomed the
These Muslims, these are people that's not even in the Christian religion that's kissing the ring of the Vatican.
few first. Back in 2007, a pope met for the first time with a Saudi monarch, King Abdullah, even though the countries do not have official relations. On the agenda was a lack of freedom of worship for hundreds of thousands of Christians in the Saudi kingdom. Another country without official ties, at least not yet, Vietnam. In January 2013, Benedict XVI welcomed the leader of the Communist Party, the first time ever meeting with a party leader. The two are currently working out the start of official relations.
Look at the influence that the Roman Catholic Church has. This the only group of people that could be in position to be Babylon the Great, because they have so much influence over other nations. That's what we have to understand. And these people have started Christianity. And they're the horde that the Bible was talking about in Revelations. We know it to be true because we see their identity. And the saints already know this. Look at what it says. This is Revelations 18. It says, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen. Just like the man just said, a queen, and am no widow. She a queen and she's no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of all of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off from the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is to come to naught, is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the companies and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. And we know this because this is what happened. This is what I wanted to show y'all. Her identity is right there. Her identity is right there. We see who she is. Look at what she's responsible for. Hold on, let me show you this. The Jews already know this. We already know this stuff. This is what we've been trying to tell everybody, that these people that's Christians are not operating in the body of Christ. They're not. So this video is a call to people to come to the truth. The truth that God has given the world by evidence of his being in his word. Look at this. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'll show you. Not hard.
Who is Mystery Babylon? A lot of people have written books about America, even Islam.
This is just one of the things. I'm going to show it from
of the book of Revelation. Did you know that God told
from what they did to us? Hopefully I can find it. Let me see. Hold on. What they did to us. Well, first, yeah, this is it right here. Hold on. What they did to black people. Let me show you this. This is the papal bulls.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her.
Before New World discovery, Spain and Portugal had gone to the Pope over a dispute about lines of demarcation. And the Pope had said to both Spain and Portugal, you are both authorized to reduce to servitude all infidel people. In other words, if a person is not a Christian, you are authorized to enslave a person.
Listen to what's being said. So the Pope authorized, right? The papal bulls authorized these 3 edicts, serve as the foundation and justification for the doctrine of discovery, and set in place the catastrophic chain of events for indigenous people, all in the name of empire expansion and religious righteousness. This is what they stated, and then they came out later on and apologized for these acts. These very acts that they had signed and approved by the papal bulls, they came back and rescinded and tried to repent of the things that they just very recently they just repented. from these things. But they are drunk with the blood of the nations. This is a part of it. This is just one part. Is this decree to enslave.
Romanus Pontifex, Latin for the Roman Pontiff, is a papal bull written in 1454 by Pope Nicholas V to King Afonso V of Portugal. As a follow-up to the Dum Diversas, it confirmed to the Crown of Portugal dominion over all lands south of Cape Bojador in Africa, along with encouraging the seizure of the lands of Saracen Turks and non-Christians. It repeated the earlier bull's permission for the enslavement of such peoples. The bull's primary purpose was to forbid other Christian nations from infringing the King of Portugal's rights of trade and colonization in these regions. This view should not be confused with the September 21st, 1451 bull by the same name, also written by Nicholas V.
And this is shout out to people. When you looking at this present day administration, they're trying to bring back the customs and norms of Rome under Caesar. Caesar had did the very same thing that Trump did. When he took over power, he got rid of a lot of people and he brought in loyalists to him. And because of the things that he had done, it caused the fall of the Roman Empire by Julius Caesar. And Trump is trying to mimic the things, and so that Julius Caesar did. In so much, he's already made an executive order trying to change Capitol Hill to look like Rome. So we can see the takeover in it, and we also seen how they tried to come in and try to oppress the people, the Jews in those nations, even to the point to where it was the beginning of the persecution of the Jews, in which the Jews were kicked out of Jerusalem and the temple was torn down and they scattered in all four corners of the earth, mostly in Africa, where they were enslaved around the coast of Africa, and the Africans had bargained with some of these European countries to exploit those people and put them into captivity, trade them for materials and weaponry, and they were the Africans were responsible for actually putting these people into slavery, that came running from the Romans out of Jerusalem, and putting them into we was a part of the transatlantic slave trade because of this. And God said that would happen to us as a result of not keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. And we went into Africa. When we went into Africa, they sent us out on ships. Like they were saying, with these in Revelations, it was talking about ships. Well, they brought us into captivity by ships, right? And then once they got a certain number of us, they went back and started just taking and raping Africa and taking and putting anybody that was black. And that's why we got a mix of real Africans and Jews that came fleeing from Jerusalem into Africa. You can go back and do your studies on what happened in 70 AD. It actually happened according to what scripture, what Jesus had told them, that these things would happen. I think I got a short video. I try to keep it as short as possible because it's a lot of information, but it's for research purposes and educational purposes as well. And people need to understand this, because this is why a lot of people are being tricked out of their salvation, is because they're not with the authentic word of God. They are with a watered down version that the devil uses to manipulate. That's why he said they come and the enemy comes in sheep clothing, but inwardly he is like a ravening wolf. A ravening wolf is a very hungry, extremely hungry wolf. Will eat anything. Wolf will eat anything when it's hungry. And you are the prey. You are. Right? So this is a spiritual warfare. We have to be looking at it like this. And there's no other spiritual warfare than the spiritual warfare that's been going on for the ages, but it's been going on under the moniker of a Christianity. Christianity is what's enslaving you. It's not freeing you, it's enslaving you. You know, it says the truth shall set you free. Only the truth will set you free, not a lie. The truth is what's going to set you free. Right? So now you see right here that this Pope is responsible for the blood of many nations, the torment of many nations. That's what it is. Now, how can we go and join something that did these atrocities to our people? I don't know. I have no clue why our people are subject to people in Christianity when, you know, I mean, but that's the customs of the earth. These are tradition of men. They're not tradition of God. All these things that people do, they don't reflect. Christmas don't reflect God. Halloween don't reflect God. Thanksgiving don't reflect God. Independence Day, none of this stuff reflects the Most High God. It reflects man and the traditions of man, which God told us to avoid. God told us to avoid these things, and we still getting involved in it, and it's because of Christianity. Like I told people, like, you got to be paying attention to this stuff. Let me see. Start with us. We got to bring light to the situation, to this dark situation. Miss Brown. And I see why God put me in this position. Every day that I'm out here, I see why God put me in this position to do what I'm doing. My brother was known as a pastor. Be as it may. That's fine, I guess, but his accident caused Kevin to come on the scene. It caused Kevin to come out on the scene, and now Kevin's doing these things, and I think when I look at it, I think it's just a setup for me to come out here, because there's no other way I would have came out here and been doing any of the things. I've been busy trying to restructure my own life and keep my family life together. It's destabilized everything and just totally turned everything in my life upside down. I guess this is the part of the persecution that I'm supposed to endure for the sake of the elect, and bringing out the information that the people need to know, based on truth and love, not materialism, not sensualism or anything like that, but in truth. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help the people who want to be helped. I'm out here to bring out the information that I feel like God want me to bring out. And it was incumbent upon me to come out here and help some of the people to get a history or an understanding about what's going on when it comes to Christianity, the Word of God, and the true people who are against the saints, and it's the Vatican. The answer is it's the Vatican. A lot of the stuff that's going on shouldn't be going on in the church at all. It seemed like, even right now, it just seemed like everything is going against me. All my stuff is going dead. My daughter is acting crazy. And everything was perfect earlier. I'm telling you, everything was perfect earlier. I had everything together. Then as soon as I come online, soon as I start talking about this, all this stuff started happening around me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to stay focused. Even my iPad went bad. I had my iPad. I had all my stuff on it. That went dead. I've been running up and down the stairs trying to figure out what's going on with my daughter. And it's just a lot of stuff going on right now. And I tell you, every single time I come out here to bear witness to the truth, there's always something attacking me. Every single time. Now, because of the fact that this video was 2 hours. This video is over 2 hours, which I wanted to compress it, but I didn't have all my stuff together because I had it together, but then when I started to get together, all this crazy stuff started to happen. And now I'm sitting here trying to figure out, okay, where did I let? Then something else happened where I was and my souls kept going out, get thee behind. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, Miss Brown, every single time the sound went out. The sound went out, everything went out, but that's the reason why most times they don't do it live. I don't like when I don't do stuff live because if people have questions, then I can help them with the answer to those questions, because I feel like the internet is a two-way street, and your audience is very important. And if people have questions and they want answers, then they should be given those answers to those questions. The Bible teaches us that we must. It's more organic. Yes, it's more organic live. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the interaction with the people is very important. If they have questions, you can answer them, and you can give an answer for whatever that's going on. But you know what? Thank God anyway, because I think a lot of the information that I've already given out is very important. It's centered on truth. It's all things that you can go back and actually go into and look it up yourself. And having the conversation is very important. I'm going to do it later on. I'm going to try to restructure and get everything together. So I'm going to do a part 2 here at about, I say 7 o'clock, so I can make sure everything is together. And I got all my stuff together. I got my stuff charged. I'm going to go see about my daughter, see what's going on, so we can figure out what's going on. And I can come out here and stay focused and keep some kind of rapport, some kind of chemistry with what I'm trying to put out. So I think I put it together a few good things that helps you to look at things with, an investigative eye and try to seek to go out there and figure out some of these things that's going on. But this is just a start. And I'm going to come back. I promise I'm going to have my stuff together when I come back. But I'm going to keep this video on. I'm not going to scrap this video. This is real life. This is authentic. And I think it's going to help people when they look at some of this stuff that's going on. Let me see if I got something else that I wanted to say before I get off. Yeah, let me go over Jeremiah 31, because I think that's important for us to understand too. Because number one, it's forbidden for us to marry a prostitute. So Christ is coming back to espouse himself to the church. Now the church is supposed to be a one body. It's not. It's an instrument but one body, just like your body has many different instruments. It got a hand, it got legs, it got a head, got chest, and all of them have different functions, but they're all useful for one body, one movement. right? So when Christ comes back, he's espousing himself to the church. So I want people to understand why. Because one of the reasons was because of what we read in Jeremiah 3 and 8. Let me pull that up real quick. Jeremiah 3 and 8. There was a divorce that took place, and I've said this countless times, and I think people should get this. Jeremiah 3 and 8. I said this before, but I don't think people could hear me. Let me see. No problem. I'm going to come out here often because I think this is the greater portion. This is what my life is all about. Let me just say this. My life is all, and I bear witness to the Most High God that my life has been sacrificed for my love for God and my wanting to get to heaven. That's my desire. The one and only reason why I'm here is because of the Most High God, the God of the Jews, the God of Israel. So I bear witness before the whole world that my only purpose and my true heart's desire is to fulfill my obligation to the Most High God, and hopefully maybe take some with me. Maybe be able to be a beacon, a light to other people's lives so that they will investigate and do their own due diligence, because your salvation is your responsibility. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm always committed to what I'm doing. I stay on it. I've been successful in everything that I have done. Everything that I have done, I've been successful. And it goes to, and let me show you that with all the bad things we hear, let's see some good things. All right, let me show you some good things. This is the confidence of the saints. We go to this is to Psalms 34 and 15. Let's go to Psalms 34 and 15. All right. Let's go here, because this I gave y'all a lot of bad things, a lot of things that's difficult. But let's give some confidence to God's people. All right. Let's go to this is Psalms chapter 34, verse 18, and it says, "The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, the people who do right." Don't let these lying people say that they with God and they doing all these things that's abominable in his sight. Gay, liars, materialistic. Watch them by their fruit. And I don't have anything against no one. It's not about me being hateful or discriminating against people. I'm against sin. I'm against people being lied to. I'm against all the things that are against God and his word. And his word says that we are not supposed to do these things. So don't get offended by the things that I've said. And even if you do, get your education. And if you love God, go to his word. He tell you exactly what you should and should not be doing, with no doubt about it. I don't like a fornicator just as much as I don't like I'm going to say this. I don't like fornication. I don't care about, I think fornication is a sin. I don't think it's no different than being gay. I don't think it's no difference from a straight man being a fornicator and adulterer is just as equal as being gay. It's still a sin. It's still something that's against what God said to do. And that's not being homophobic. That's just standing on the word of God. If you are in God, that is not right. That is not righteous. And he said that his eyes, the eyes of the Lord, are upon the righteous, people who do the right thing according to what he said. So I don't want no, I'm not TD Jakes. I'm not Joel Osteen. I'm not going to come out here and say, well, it depends. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come out here and tell you if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And I'm going to tell you how you get the eyes of the Lord on you. You do right. You want his ears to be open unto you, huh? And this is what it is right here. It says his ears are open unto their cry. But look what his face is against. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry, and the Lord does what? He heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. This is the confidence of the saints. This is why we more than conquerors. It doesn't matter who comes up against you. He said, the righteous cry, and the Lord heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. Out of all their troubles. You want all your troubles you want to be delivered out of all your troubles? Be righteous. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart. He's near to you if you have a broken heart. Why? I just explained this in Glam's live. I said, because when your heart is broken, that's why it says above all things guard your heart, because a lot of the nasty stuff of the world has infiltrated most people's hearts, and God cannot operate within that body of a believer until they or someone who ascribes and is diligent to become a saint. He can't get in your heart until some of that stuff come out. So what does it mean to have a broken heart? It's just like taking a glass. If it's filled with something that's nasty, if it's sealed at the top, you got to break it to take it, get it out, and you might have to build a new glass and put something into it. So when that heart is broken, he can come in. He can infiltrate that heart with his goodness, with his peace. As long as you got bottled up in your heart that wickedness and that evil stuff that the devil has used to infiltrate your body and your soul and your mind, and it got in your heart because you couldn't protect it from your heart. It's just like the example that I give best is like if a woman has a bad boyfriend, everybody's sitting there telling the girl, that man terrible. I seen him cheating. He wasn't cheating. It don't matter if she know he was cheating or not. She don't even care. And a lot of folk don't even get bothered with people when it comes to relationship stuff. It's been friends that said, you know what, I ain't even gonna tell her what's going on because she might end up turning on me. She might end up turning on me because the heart is a deceiver. It can deceive you. When stuff is wrong and it's in your heart, you got to wait till that thing get broken. That's why God said that he's near to a broken heart. And he saved such as be of a contrite spirit. Contrite is something that's repentant of some form of guilt. You can look it up. Go check my work. Contrite spirit is something that is repentant, and it's repentant. That's why I know when people are being truthful, when they come to me now, because I know the word of God, and I don't get played when it come to my heart or when it come to me and you fixing something, because when you come, you go have a broken heart and you go have a contrite spirit. A contrite spirit is when you repentant of or you regretful of some form of guilt that you did to me. Now, before, me and my brother couldn't gauge it with this certain individual, so we always let him back in, and then we let him back in to come in and mess up our lives, because we wasn't paying attention to what the Lord said. He said, they ain't gonna fix theyself. They ain't gonna fix theyself unless they have a contrite spirit. And they have a regretful, because sorry is a changed pattern of behavior. It's not just saying I'm sorry so I can get in good graces with you. No, you must be repentant and regretful of that thing that you had done. And we know when people are truly regretful of the things that they did to us. We know it. They ain't gonna come at it. If they come at it as if it was an option or something, then yeah, because they come. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something that I learned even in this year, and God showed me. Let me tell you this. Look at me. In the scriptures, it says that people will come as sheep, right? But internally, they're as ravening wolves. Inwardly, they're as ravening wolves. Ravening is extremely hungry, and they are looking for prey, and you are the prey. It can be your mama, it can be your children, it can be your auntie, it can be your daddy, it can be your son, it can be anybody that looks to prey on you. Because wolves don't mess with other wolves. That's why wolves run in packs. They looking to find prey. Somebody that's not like them. They're looking for prey. And us that are peaceful and loving and cheerful and willing to give to other people, we are the prey. Because all they sit around is ravening wolves. And wolves run in packs so that they can hunt in packs and devour whoever it is that is prey. And God said that's what we need to watch out for. And they go come in the title as mom, dad is capable, because your enemies will be they of your own household. Most of people's enemies is people that's close to them. Most of your enemies are going to come from your family. Somebody that's close to you, 9 times out of 10. Right? That's why even on Bigo, people fight so hard for people to know your personal information, because if they find out your personal information or who you affiliated with or your family members, they know them family members go come out and they gonna be able to exploit you. They gonna know everything about you. That's why they fight so hard against it. They fight so hard against people knowing where they stay, their personal information, all of that stuff, because they know that they can exploit your situation by using the people that's close to you. Or using where you work and your co-workers and people like that. He said your enemies will be there of your own household. And we prove it every time when we come out here and try to protect our personal private information or our private relationships or our close relatives. We are indicating that everything that Jesus said is right. Your enemies will be there of your own household. They can do more damage to you than anybody. But the confidence is with me, see, I don't care. The reason why I don't care, because I live my life vicariously through the word and what the word says. The word says right here, it don't matter, Kevin. It don't matter. If you are righteous and you keeping my laws, statutes, and commandments, and you following after my will and doing what I'm telling you to do, he says this is a guarantee to the saints. He said that I will deliver you from all of your troubles. He said, listen, then furthermore, let's double up. Hold on. He said this. Let's double up. He said, many, pay attention, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. We go, what's affliction? What's the definition of affliction? Let me see what I'm saying. Affliction. Something that causes pain or suffering. That's what an affliction is. He said, And this is why so many people walk around here with on medication, they out of their mind, they all this stuff because they not delivered from their afflictions because they are constrained by their unrighteousness. He said our righteousness is going to help us when affliction happens to come. When disease comes, when anything comes, he said, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. Because they righteous. Look at who they are. The only reason why you go get delivered is because of your righteousness. Because your ability to walk in the ways and the righteousness of what God called you to. Your righteousness is going to prove you out. There was a king in the Bible. There was a king in the Bible. Hold on. Let me put myself. There was a king in the Bible. Let me show you. Hold on. Let me get it. Isaiah 38, we go, Miss Brown, you probably know what I'm talking about. Isaiah, we go to this, Isaiah. Isn't that so confident though? That's why the saints be so bold. A real saint ain't gonna be worried about no troubles. Because your righteousness go prove you out. Your righteousness is what's gonna prove you out. But see, the people that's fearful is the people that's not walking in righteousness. Your unrighteousness is going to tangle you up and constrain you. But your righteousness is what's going to and everything is hinged on you because it's not self-righteousness. I'm not talking about self-righteousness. I'm talking about righteousness after following the dictates of the law. After following the dictates of the commandments, after following after God's word, just like Jesus said, man does not live off bread alone, but off every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. That's how you live. So you live in righteousness, and he will sustain you. But there was a king in Isaiah chapter 38. Let's go to it. I got to bear witness to the truth. Yeah, I'm going to give you some vindication. Isaiah chapter 38. This is King Hezekiah. Now listen to this story. Now this is how I prove all things. I prove what God said. He said that he would deliver you from, and he said your righteousness will get you out of these things. So he said, so I got the story. Hezekiah's sickness. In those days, let me see. Am I up? Is it up? Hold on. Let me show you. Hold on. This is it right here. Let me show you. Right here. It said, in those days. Where am I at? Okay, here it is. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. So here the prophet come, right? And and this is Isaiah. And he says, hey, get your house in order because you about to die. And you not going to live. Then the first thing Hezekiah did was this. He remembered what David said. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord and said, remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. And then watch this. Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying, go and say to Hezekiah, thus says the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer. Remember, he said he heard the cry, he heard the cry. So he got to activate on his word. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he has spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which is going down in the sundial of Ahaz 10 degrees backward. Look at this. He turning the sun 10 degrees backwards. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was going down. Can you believe it? Look at what he did. The writing of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness, I said, in the cutting off of my days, I shall go to the gates of the grave. I am deprived of the residue of my years. I said, I shall not see the Lord, even the Lord, in the land of the living. I shall behold man no more with the inhabitants of the world. Mine age is departed and is removed from me as a shepherd's tent. I have cut off like a weaver my life. He will cut me off with a pining sickness. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. I reckon till morning, that as a lion, so will he break all my bones. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. Let me go on. Let me get out of here. For Isaiah has said, let them take a lump. So all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. For Isaiah said, let them take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. So that was how he healed him. He said, take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also has said, what is the sign that I shall go up to the house of the Lord? And you can go in further with that on your own. But look at what he did. He kept his word in what he said in Psalms chapter 34, verse 15. Let's go back to it. Didn't God keep his word? He sure did. Choose God and live. Choose his word and live. Chapter 34, he said it already. This was before that even happened. So he just stayed up on what the Lord said, and the Lord held his word. Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking gall. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. You heard Hezekiah cry when he cried, and he told God what he did. He reminded God of how he walked perfectly with him. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance. They don't have that access to the Lord like Hezekiah can, because the righteous cry. Didn't he say he was crying? He was righteous, and the Lord heard it. He heard it, and he told Isaiah to go back and tell him, and he delivered him out of his trouble, out of his sickness. There you go, right there. That's look, we got a great cloud of witnesses. This is just one of them. There's many of them where God has answered the call of the righteous. We have none where he answered the call of the wicked. Because it says down here, his eyes are against the wicked. Evil shall slay the wicked. All these people, I come out here and they don't know I be talking about God. It says evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate righteous shall be desolate. The Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. What's desolate? What's desolate? Let's get some definition. I hate when people be coming out here and they don't give no definition. They'll never be deserted. Deserted of people in a time in a state of bleak and dismal emptiness. That'll never happen to the righteous. That only happened to the wicked. He said that they shall be desolate. He said his eyes is against them. You don't believe me? Let's hear what David said. David said it in Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 86. He said the very same thing to David. But David said the same thing. A prayer to David. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me. For I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusted in thee. See, I trusted in God. I don't trust in my mama. I don't trust in no man. That's where you get a curse. You don't trust in man. It ain't just in the pastor. It ain't even in the president. It could be your mama or your father. If it don't say what God say, don't put no trust in it. He said, I trust in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. That's what I do every day. You need the Lord. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive. Look at this. God, he's good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Not half of y'all. See, there is even mercy in the calling of him, because if you call on him, that means you recognize him as the authority. He even wants you to call, because if you call, you recognize him as God. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplications. In the day of my trouble, I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. See? And we know it because we read Psalm 37. We seen what happened to Hezekiah. We seen all this stuff in Isaiah. We seen it. We know what's going to happen. That's the great confidence that we have when we walk. That's why we walk boldly. We don't walk like we worried about nothing. Christ told us not to worry. We don't worry about nothing. I don't care what is going on. I ain't worried about it. And that's why I can come out here and say, whatever that's happened on, God allowed it. If I can't see my brother, God allowed it. I come out here, he don't want me because he want me to be out here doing this. This is more important. This is more important to him. This more important to him. Because see, if I go over there and see my brother, this might stop. I might not put that much effort. Lord know I won't. I don't care about no people like that. I don't want my privacy invested in. I don't want all my privacy out here. I don't want to be coming out here constrained to all this stuff. That's why God force you sometimes and put you in these situations. You don't even want to be bothered with none of these folk. You don't even want to be bothered with this stuff. I'm sitting here, coming here every day in defense of this stupid stuff. I don't even be bothered with people like this. No women like this. No men like this. I don't even be bothered with none of these people. I'll just be here chilling. I'll be in my word. I'll be reading my books like I read. I'll be listening to my music and enjoying myself with my wife and my children. I wouldn't even be out here. The Lord put you in a situation where you got to be out here. You ain't got no choice. You ain't got no choice. I say God is good. He want his purpose done. By any means necessary. That's why I come out here looking like Malcolm X, because by any means necessary, we got to get it done. You got to get it done. And you might get some, because he said it's going to be a narrow way to get into heaven. And a lot of people ain't going to find it. They ain't going to find it. My wife told me, you need to come out here and talk about this. I don't want to be talking. You need to come out here and talk about this, because this deep right here. These people get this. It's gonna be this gonna be fruit. This all good fruit that everything I'm speaking on here ain't nothing but good fruit. He said what Jesus say about what's in no, hold on. Got to get this before I get off and go to the second half. Matthew 7, that's what it was. Not Matthew 7. Matthew 7 and 7. I'll give you some good stuff. Matthew 7 and 7. Let me get the Lord in here. Where is that? Matthew 7 and 7. Matthew 7. That's it. Okay. Look at what the Lord say. Look at what God say. Hold on, let me see. Let me show you this. If you want to know the truth, I bring the truth. It ain't no problem for me. And I'm not constrained by nobody. I don't care what these people be saying. Give me the word, Lord. Hold on. I'll come out here and say it. I ain't scared of nobody. I'm not scared of no ghost. Ain't afraid of no ghost. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Listen to it. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be open unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. Look at that. Look. Ask, knock, seek. Look, and he said you're going to get what you want if you ask for it. If you knock, if you seek, you're going to get it. They said everyone. Who was everyone? Everyone. Like that man said on The Professional when they was calling all the people. He said, do you want me to go get everyone? He said everyone. I need everyone who asks will be given. It shall be given. It said, operative word, shall. Why it say shall? Because you got to have faith to get it. Because if you ask for it, you got to have faith. It's go come. Shall mean it's a duration of time. That's what shall mean. He said, because we don't want you to be asking amiss. Because if you ask and you ask with a double heart, he said, let that man believe that know that he ain't gonna receive nothing he asks, because he a double-minded man and he unstable in all his ways. Every time God gives you something, it shall be given. Because he need room to see how you move. When you ask, when you knock, is you patient? Are you enduring? Huh? That's what he's looking for. Because he's only moved. He said faith is the thing that pleases God. Faith is the thing that moves God. The world moved by what sight and all this scientific evidence and all. But faith is what moves us. Because we believe in God. That's why he says shall. He always puts shall. You shall get it. It's going to come. And you can have confidence. Whatever you ask for, if you ask for it and you believe and you have faith, he said it will go be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. You gonna find it. Don't even worry about it. He said you gonna find it. Knock and it's gonna be open unto you. It shall be open unto you. Don't miss that. And he made it sure and prove for everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. And then he goes a little bit further. He said, oh, now what manner is there of you, whom if you have a son that asks for bread, he will give him a stone? Or if he asks a fish, will he give him a serpent? He said, which one of you? Which one of you? He said, and then he goes on to say, if ye then, being evil as you are, know how to give good gifts unto your children. Look at who he said, unto your children. How much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask of him? He said, if you being evil, you evil. Look at the color. Ain't this red? This means it's Jesus talking. He said, if you know you and you evil, and you give good gifts to your children, you know how to give good gifts to your children. He said, how much more with the Father, who is good and rich in mercy, plenteous in mercy, give good gifts unto them that ask him. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. That is the law and the prophets, because everything in the law is about how you treat other people and God. You don't steal from other people because that's evil. You don't lust over or covet over somebody else's stuff because it don't belong to you. Because God said, if you want it, ask me and I'll give it to you. But a lot of people ain't got no faith. They want to cheat the system. They want to be coveting somebody else's wife, coveting somebody else's possessions. When all they have, they should be activated on faith, and God will probably give it to them. Well, it said he will give it to them. But they don't want to operate in faith. They want to cheat the system. Yeah. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. I just showed y'all. Because everybody coming under this moniker of Christianity, 2.1 billion people, and all of them led in error. All of them is led in error. That's why it's licensed for them to do whatever they want to do in the church. You can sleep with somebody's wife in the church, be forgiven, and go on and do what you, and don't have to repent. You can have children out of wedlock, still sit your ass up in that church, still do all this stuff. God said, let it not be so. He said, let it not be so. You got to separate yourself from the sexual and immoral. He said, my name is blaspheme among the heathens because of you. Because you won't hold the standard. Because you won't say this is what the Lord said. Because you won't remove that stuff out of that church when you know it's wrong, but you can't. Because you ain't nothing but a whore. Because you a derivative of your mama whore, which is the Roman Catholic Church. There ain't nothing like whores. Let's look at it. Let's look at it not from a spiritual standpoint. Let's look at it from a physical standpoint. When you got a mama that's a whore. When you got a mama that's a whore that'll open up her legs to any and everybody, I guarantee you it's going to breed a lot of corruption in that woman's and them children's lives. And God already told us in Leviticus 19 and 29, don't let your daughters become whores. Don't let them become prostitutes. I know if you see these people out here, you see Megan Thee Stallion, you see Lotto out here showing her butt. You see all these people out, and they always got all these niggas that they be dealing with. None of them married. Even the one that got married, she was a whore before, and now she a whore now. She out here with kids, and she about to get a divorce from her husband because he's a whore. Everybody's whore. It just pollutes the nation. It just pollute. He said, don't let your daughter become no whore. Don't let your daughter become. It's gonna pollute. And see, by the way of a whore, the great whore of Babylon, that great city, the Vatican. Look at all the whoredoms that was committed in it. Look at all the corruption that's in the. He said corruption. Look at the corruption that's in the earth because of the Roman Catholic Church. Look at all the stuff that they brought into the church. He said, I can't marry that thing. That's why I divorced Israel. That's why I divorced Israel. Because of their whoredoms. Say it right there in Jeremiah 3 and 8. Say it right there. Because of their whoredoms. God divorced it. Yet, God don't understand what it is to be a divorce. What it is to be a father. You a lie? How many kids you had? Have you had more than almost a million that came out of Egypt? Well, you don't know what you're talking about. God, they had plenty of kids that went astray, that didn't listen. And he whooped their ass. And still whooping their ass. That's why we here. We here because we disobedient. Ain't because no white man. The white man can't do nothing without God giving them the ability, the authority to be able to do it. The only reason why he gave them the authority because you wouldn't listen. You wouldn't adhere to what he said. So you are the white man is all these Hebrew Israelites come out. The white man is standing out here in the corner. Esau this and Esau. Man, sit your butt down. If you was doing what you was supposed to do, you wouldn't even have to worry about these people holding you into subjection. Everybody want to point their finger at everybody else, though, but don't want to get busy and start doing what they need to do to clean their own lives up. Stand out on no corner with them niggas. Please, I wish I would. Hey, the only reason why we here because some of y'all niggas anyway. Y'all ain't gonna listen to what God said. Only worry about who you go, how many women you go sleep, how many women I'm gonna have. I'll be able to have a whole bunch of women as a Hebrew Israelite. Just doing the work of you, the devil too. Can't even take care of them women. You over here in your captivity trying to get all these women. You can't even take care of these women. Can't even take care of these women. You supposed to treat everyone. Jacob had 4 wives. 4 wives. He had to treat all of them had to be treated the same way. He had to treat Rachel and Leah the same way. I ain't try to get out of stuff. No, these niggas ain't gonna do nothing. No, these niggas ain't. At least Jacob worked hard. He had to work all them years to get Rachel or Leah. It was Rachel. He had to work all them years to get that. Then he got tricked out of it. Then he had to work another couple of years to get the woman he really wanted. Y'all niggas ain't gonna never put no work in for nothing. Go sit up here, stand on the corner talking about the white man this, the white man. You need to get right. Wouldn't be worried about no white man. You doing what you supposed to be doing. And these women ain't gonna follow no incompetent ass leader. They need somebody that's gonna stand in the gap. They need somebody that's gonna stand up against all this wicked stuff that's going on. They need somebody that's gonna stand on God's word. So that's the man that I am. Stand against wickedness. I don't care who it come from. I stand against it. Period. Amen. What do you say though? Let's get up in here because I got off. I tend to get off subject. Let me get on subject back again. We already know that wide is the way that leads to destruction, and many will go therein. But straight, it said, straight is the gate, and narrow is the way. Which ain't no crooked paths on God's road. It's just straight. You know exactly where you're supposed to go. You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. It's straight. It ain't gonna be, what if God told us to go around? Stay going straight, nigga. Keep your butt on that straight road. Quit listening to these niggas. He said it's a way that seemed right. It seemed right that I should be over here. It seemed right. He said it's a way that seemed right, but in the end it's death. I done found out many a time. It seemed like she all right. It seemed like she nice. It do seem like it. He said, but stay on the narrow way. Stay on the way that I told you to go. Stay on the straight way, and you will find your way there. That's that devil coming to make you think, man, it seemed like that should be the way to go. No, it don't. God already told you where you're supposed to be going. That's why he said seeming is evil. It is. It seemed like that's what God. Nope, because it's right here what you're supposed to be doing. I don't know that. It seemed like I'm supposed to put this on. That's why you going to hell. That's why you going. You trust in lying words. You trust in this Christianity stuff. That's what's going to get you caught up. He said, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that will find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. See, I told you. They ravening wolves. They come in sheep clothing. What people always come to you nice. They always come to you nice. A wolf always go come to you nice. And you know why they go come to you. You know why people come to you real nice and they be overdoing it. Reason why they be overdoing it is because they know that they haven't reciprocated the kindness and the love that you shown them. So they gotta overdo the nice in order for them to get something from you. But you know what they thinking? They looking at you as prey. That's the reason why they doing, because they looking at you as prey. That's why they doing all of this, overly being nice, overly trying to get you, because they ain't gonna get it from other wolves. They got to get it from the sheep. They got to get it from somebody that they view as prey. He said, but this how you gonna know them. He said, ye shall know them by their fruits. You gonna know them by their fruits. Look at them. Watch it, what's growing on that tree. He said, you gonna know them by their fruits. That's why y'all don't be knowing who your enemies are. That's why y'all be getting caught up in these bad relationships with these sorry niggas. Because you ain't looking at their fruit. That's why I got caught up with these sorry ass women. Because I wasn't looking at their fruit. I was looking at the wrong stuff. I wasn't looking at the fruit. Oh yeah, I was looking at titties, ass, you know what I'm saying? Hair, pretty face. He said, see, that's how you go get caught up. That's how you go get caught up. He said, because you're not supposed to be looking at that. You supposed to be looking at their fruit. What? And I'm like, what fruit? What? The fruit of the spirit, nigga. The fruit of the flesh, nigga. That's what you're supposed to be looking at. Oh, I never really considered that. Now you do, after years of being used and manipulated, losing all your money, losing all now you want to look at fruit. Now you want to look at fruit. You didn't waste all this time having kids out of wedlock, messing up other people's lives, messing up your life. Now you want to do what I told you to do. Now you want me to come in and now you want to pray because you got all these kids to take because your child support bill too high. Now you want to oh Lord me now. Now you want to oh Lord me now. Sure you do. And look, God's still merciful. Because when you get right and get righteous and start doing right, he said, I'm gonna deliver you from I'm gonna get you a job so you can take care of it. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna put you in a better position so you'll be able to take care. Don't even worry about it. But you better do right. But you better do right from now on. You understand? That's what Jesus told the people that he healed. He said, now listen, I'm going to heal you. But you better not continue to sin or something worse going to happen to you. So then he goes on to say, he says, do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Do men go and grab grapes of thorns? No. Or figs of thistles? Absolutely not. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. He said, a good tree cannot bring forth good evil fruit, and neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Well, he looked good, she looked good. It's corrupted though. Look at the fruit. It's corrupted. Look, it's corrupted. But you go compromise because you don't know the word of the Lord, and then you go get entangled by a snare, by the devil. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit, this what's gonna happen. This what the Lord gonna do. He go cut you down, and then he go cast you in the fire. What's cut down? Hewn down. He go cut you down, then he go cast your butt in the fire, in hell. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. You gonna know them by their fruits. He ain't say by their wallet. You teaching your kids, your daughters the wrong thing, single mothers. You teaching your daughters the wrong thing. You gotta go know him for his wallet. You not go know him because he got big muscles. You ain't gonna know him because he's supposed to be the smartest person. He said, you gonna know them by their fruit. What do they do? So your question is, what fruit should I be looking for? The fruits of the spirit and the fruits of the flesh. When you see what, if they doing any of those things, that's the fruits of the flesh. He said that's a corrupted tree. And let me tell you something. The people that's on the corrupt trees, it was more of the corrupt trees. It's more of the corrupt trees than the good trees. But he said, you will know them by their fruit. But the only way you gonna know what the fruit is you gonna have to come to me. You gonna have to come to me. Then I'm gonna tell you what kind of fruit they supposed. It's right there in the book. I done showed it countless times since I've been out here. I done showed everybody what kind of fruit that's good fruit and what kind of fruit is bad fruit. So you should, if you in the hearing right now, you shouldn't be getting caught up in nothing else when it comes to bad fruit. If you hear, you shouldn't be getting caught up in none of this stuff. You shouldn't be getting caught. There's no way. Why am I with my wife? Because she bear good fruit. Why she with me? Because I bear good fruit. There's plenty of good looking things out there that bear bad fruit. Just like the tree in the midst of the garden. It bear things that look pleasing to the eye. Desirous. But he said in the end, it's death. It's death. That's death. Because I told you not to engage. What I told you not to do, that's what you don't do. What I told you to do, that's what you do. That's the crux of the commandments. That's everything in the commandments. What he tell you not to do, don't do it. Simple as that. Don't do it. Well, I like this. That's a desire. That's a desire of the flesh. I like boy on boy. He told you don't do it. If I was back in the garden, I wouldn't have ate none of that. You doing it now. You doing it now. You doing it now. You still eating from the fruits of the trees that's forbidden. You still doing it. And I say all this in Jesus' name. I can say this in Jesus' name. When I say all this stuff, I confirm everything that I have said in this live. I confirm it in Jesus' name, as my brother would say. So shout out to everybody that I love. Shout out to the people that don't love me. Hopefully this message get to you. I'm going to take some time off and get my stuff together. And then when I come back out, maybe I'll have my stuff together. It may be today. It may be next weekend. I don't know now. Because I didn't run over. But I didn't gave up a lot. I didn't gave up a lot right now. There's no way you should be getting caught up in none of this Christianity stuff. There's no way. With all the stuff that I just put out here, ain't no way you're supposed to be getting caught up. And then you can do your research and find out on your own. The Vatican is of the devil. And Christianity is of the devil. If it ain't taking you out of sin and it's keeping you in sin, it's of the devil. Do not be deceived. Just like Apostle Paul and Peter said, do not be deceived. And I know it's gonna come. I'm gonna catch hell everywhere I go. I'm gonna be persecuted most, but the saving grace is the Lord is going to deliver me from all my troubles. And I say that in Jesus' name. Shout out to my brother, Pastor P, better known as Keith O'Neal Jones. Thank you, brother, for sharing. Even if you didn't willfully do it. Your prestige, your charisma has been a gateway for me to enter into other people's lives. So thank my brother for being as troublesome as he's always been in my life to get me in stuff that I wouldn't even be involved in if it wasn't for him. Shout out to Miss Brown. Shout out to my wife. Love y'all. Peace. And I'll see y'all later. Hopefully I'll be out here and get some more stuff out here so people can come out here and see something that's edifying, that's helpful to the people, other than all this rah-rah messy stuff. Love y'all and peace.